What's good, chat? What's good? What's good? What's good, chat? What's good? How are y'all feeling? Quick little change up to the morning, you feel me? We had to. We had to. You know what I'm saying? We had to figure some things out because I've been telling folks when we come back after November 15th, things are going to start to sound different, start to look different, you know. I've been preparing folks for months. It's not me. It's El Gato, right? They told us in advance that, hey, you know, after I talked to them at TwitchCon, they did give me some additional insights that, you know what, your sounds are probably good. And they still even weren't able to give me the full answer on the music. So I feel like with today, you know, being Monday, and y'all know how we go so hard on Monday mornings, we don't want to take that chance of getting any type of strikes or getting muted. You know what I'm saying? Because people need to hear this information. Shout out to Crest in the building early. What is good, Crest? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Y'all make sure y'all go check out Crest. My guy was doing a tattoo cover up. Still going crazy on the tattoos. Fire, fire, fire. Let's see if the clip will run. 3, 2, 1. No. Bueller. Okay. Maybe it'll pop up. Maybe a picture will pop up. Maybe. I don't know. How are you feeling? How was y'all weekend? How was y'all weekend, chat? How was y'all weekend? Because I'm definitely going to start off the morning with a little story. Y'all know every now and again we get a little story time. But I got a good Po' Boy Fest. Ooh, a Po' Boy Fest. Listen, that sounds like that's good eats. A Po' Boy Fest? I know I came down to NOLA and I had a po' boy. I cannot remember the name of that restaurant we went to, but it was on, I think, the main street, or the main like party street. It might have been Bourbon Street, but we were at the top. And I know right across the street, I think they had Gator Bites. That's not a full description of anything, but that's pretty much what it was. So yeah, shout out to that. Shout out to the Po' Boy Fest. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to folks lurking. You know what I'm saying? Haven Bear in the building. Shout out to that. Good morning. Good morning. Everybody come on in. Leave the door open behind you. Oceana Grill. That sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. Oceana Grill. Let's see. Actually, I think this was a spot. Hold up. I'm looking at pictures. Let me switch my screen up real quick so the folks can see what we got going on. I believe Oceana Grill. Let me see. This might have been the spot. Yeah, because I think we were up on like a little balcony terrace. Yeah, this looks like the spot, actually. I think so. Yeah, I think you might have got it. Because I'm like, yo, we were right up on a balcony, but we can still see down into the street. Yeah, I think we were right up here. And then across the street, yep. Yo, shout out to Crest. Crest say, yo, don't nobody know my city like I know my city. What is you talking about? Shout out to that. Shout out to that. That's what's up. Yeah, that good old NOLA food, man, that's making me hungry. You know, I rarely eat breakfast. So every now and again when I eat some breakfast, it don't look like this. It don't look like that, chat. How was y'all weekend? I got to tell you about my weekend. My weekend was actually chill. I had a very, very chill weekend. But the story I'm going to tell you is about something that happened over the weekend. To me, was quite hilarious. Quite hilarious, but it's interesting. So I wanted to find this video. And if I can't find the video, hold up, let me see something real quick. Because I want to show you guys the video because it's going to preface my story. And if I have to, I know exactly what I can do because I specifically like the video on Instagram to be able to refer back to it, if I'm not mistaken. Because this is gonna, all right, here we go.
Playing video games.
Okay, here we go, 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 here we go. Here we go, chat. This is exactly how I'm gonna find it. This is how I'm gonna find it. This is how I'm gonna find it. So let's see. It should post. Give it 2 seconds and I'm gonna go back to it. Cause I'm like, yo, this is, I saw this yesterday and y'all ever get that feeling that it's like, you know, and maybe this is just how social media works, right? It's like your brain kind of looks for the type of videos or whatever's going through your mind or the sentiments that you feel. Like if you like in a good mood, you know what I'm saying? You watch certain videos. If you're in a mood to laugh, you watch certain videos. If you're feeling skeptical, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the algorithm just knows you. Maybe you said something out loud and then, you know, Google tracked you or something like that. But, excuse me, chat. But yeah, I gotta show y'all this video. Once it posts. Okay, I think it posted now. Let me see. Let me go back. I'm gonna show you. It's a short video, but it's gonna preface my little story. It's a short story. And it almost feels kind of gossipy, right? But nonetheless, all right, let me switch gears. Let me go back to my screen. And I gotta show y'all this. Peep it, chat. So this is my Instagram. Many of you may have seen this before. But let me go to the post I want you to see. Not that one. It's just
Are overshare.
listen.
Playing video games will teach you that every time you come across enemies, it just means that you're going in the right direction. Playing video games will teach you that every time you come across enemies, it just means you're going in the right direction. Playing video games will teach you that every time you come across enemies, it just means that you're going in the right direction. No obstacles means you're on the wrong path. No resistance means no progress. No enemies means you're not moving toward anything worth defending. Opposition is confirmation. In video games, the boss battles come before level completion. Increased difficulty means approaching victory. More enemies means that you're closer to the goal. I like to think life is kind of like a game.
That was good enough. But I think that was good to preface my story. Because this is going to go into a little bit about how my weekend was. Which, for the record, chat, I had a good weekend. My weekend was perfectly fine. I didn't go out and do nothing spectacular. I chilled in the house. We did some Christmas decorating. You know, I was chilling with the family, etc. You know what I mean? Everything was good. And one of the streamers I like to watch had said on Friday, like, yo, if anybody's available, I'm going to have a little chill, kind of, you know, not necessarily a drinking stream, but I'm going to have me a little drink, right? So if y'all not doing nothing on Saturday, come through, watch me have a little drink, etc. Cool, right? It was Saturday. Wasn't doing much. I was chilling, had me a little drink, tuned into Twitch. You know what I'm saying? 80 pages, tabbed up, scrolling from page to page. Listen, when I be tabbing folks up, I be in the matrix. All right? So if people see me lurk, if y'all see me lurking, and I go in and out, you feel me? Like, Payne said it before, the multiverse, right? Having all the screens up, having all the... Listen, I be just watching all of them like this. You know what I'm saying? To me, chat, to me, that is my way of giving back to the community. That is my way of supporting folks. That is my way of saying, listen, I can't give everybody 100% of my time, but whenever I do have the time in there, I'm going to give it to you. Because we all know, and I said it 1,000 times before, we are on a journey to go from zero to hero. And we do that by, one, we got to meet people. We got to support people. Why did that story that this dude just said about video games and my weekend have in common? So chat, are y'all ready? Listen to this shit, right? So I'm lurking as I do, and I'm lurking in a page I've lurked for months, right? At least a couple months, chat. Lurking every now and again, chatting, but really just showing support to the streamer. It's a small streamer. You know what I'm saying? I can't comment about other small streamers. I'm a small streamer myself. You feel me? So to me lurking is giving my time to someone. Even if I'm not always actively in front of the computer, me being able to have you tabbed up on my computer or whatever is my way of saying, listen, I support you. Keep doing your thing, right? So chat, I'm lurking in somebody's page that I've lurked again for months, bro. And I'm reading the chat, right? The chat got a couple people in it. It ain't 100 people. It's like maybe 4 or 5 people in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the chat lurking. I'm watching the video, chat. I'm watching the video, right? Looking, lurking, occasionally engaging. And then I see the chat like just having an inside conversation. And you see this often because you go to people's pages who maybe you don't know them quite well, right? But you still go and you lurk sometimes and you see their chat and they got certain people that probably are VIPs to their chat or come through all the time, right? And you're like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know those things happen, right? Those people know the streamer better than you know the streamer or the broadcaster. It happens. I'm watching and I'm looking at them talk and I'm looking at them go back and forth. And I'm like, what's happening? Like something happened that I don't know that happened. It happens all the time, right? You go to somebody's page and there's a little bit of drama or there's something and you just reading and you just looking and you're like, yo, what's going on? So this happened over the weekend, chat. And I'm looking and I'm reading the comments. I'm there with my popcorn, chat. And I'm like, yo, this is getting juicy. You know what I'm saying? Little coffee break. The chat is talking big shit about somebody. And I'm like, yo. And when I tell you, they calling this person names, you know what I'm saying? They are basically saying how this person is an op, how this person is like basically praying and doing all this crazy stuff, right? And I'm literally in the chat looking and reading all these messages like, yo, hopefully, and this is a streamer, like I said, I've gone in there months, supported, give a little biddies here and there. And I'm like, and then I still hear them start talking about this person as it relates to the streamer. Like, yo, I would guarantee this is the person that reported, your channel and all this stuff. And I'm just looking like, yo,
you're cooked, brother.
Like whoever they talking about, bro, like, yo, don't show your face because they're going off, right? I'm watching this, and even the streamer, the broadcaster, is like, you know what I'm saying? I even checked this person's stream out. They're such a snake, and all this other stuff, right? And like, all I see is like, yo, what the fuck happened, chat? What the fuck happened? And I'm just reading and looking. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So I'm in the chat like, damn, hopefully everything's straight. Hopefully, things will get better. That's me. Chat. were they talking about me the whole time, chat? They were talking about me the whole time. Now I'm typing. I'm like, wait, what happened? So now I'm going back and rereading because they're talking about me, and I'm reading the chat like,
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
I'm like, yo, they really cooking me. I'm like, what is that about? I'm like, yo, they really think all this about me? Like, what the hell did I do? And the broadcaster chat just starts atting me. And other people just start atting me, bro. Like, they just literally start mentioning me. And somebody's like, yo, why the fuck are you always showing up here? You're a op, blah, 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 blah. And you could just leave. You could just leave them alone. They don't want you here, etc., etc., etc. So I said, me? Like, cause I'm still confused. Like, we talking about the same person? I'm like, hold up, y'all talking about me? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, I didn't ask no clarifying questions because I'll be real with you, Chad. I don't give a fuck. But I'm like, I'm just still in shock because I'm chilling Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, me? Like, hold up, you talking about me? And somebody confirmed, like, yes, you motherfucker. Like, what do you want? Leave them alone. Like, this chat is good. Blah 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 blah. Right? So I go, my bad. I wasn't aware that was me. Okay, cool. And like I said, the broadcaster is joined in on this conversation. It's like, why are you still chatting? Why are you still here? We don't want you here. My chat is good. All I type chat, mind you, this is a person I have been lurking for a little while. Y'all know only been here since May. So I go, cool. You ain't got to tell me twice. I just straight up left and I just unfollowed the person. Chat. Chat. When I tell you, when I saw them mentioning my name and talking about me, not only was I shocked, but I was like, yo, that's actually crazy. Cause they were dragging my ass in the chat. But I'm the type of person that I'm like, yo, I already know all of my intentions are good. So however you feel, listen, you did me such a huge favor, right? You did me such a huge favor because, listen, chat, I've been on here since May. I don't try to do no flexing. I don't try to do nothing. All I try to do is support people. And I know for a fact I've given out over 500 gifted subs. I've given out over 50,000 bits. I've been subscribed to people's channels from the day I joined Twitch. From the day I've joined. I've literally had non-stop subscriptions running. Just running up. Just supporting people who, especially people who've come in to support me. Shout out to Vaughn in the building. And they were, listen, chat. When I tell you I was in there on a Saturday night reading the chat, and I'm the whole time I'm thinking this.
You're cooked, brother.
I'm thinking, yo, somebody's cooked. They calling this person a snake. The broadcaster like, I've been to this person's, I watched this person's live. They such a fraud. They a op. They like, yo, calling, yo, all types of names. And then they started adding me, bro. Started literally mentioning me at True Keyman. And I'm looking like,
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
I'm the one getting cooked the whole time. Yo, listen, like the dude said earlier, a video game helps you realize that if you're encountering enemies, you're on the right path, right? And me being able to come across people like that tells me I'm on the right path because I didn't do shit to you. I did absolutely nothing to you. And I'm like, yo, you never know what type of mental state. Shout out to the biddies, Vaughn. Appreciate you. You never know what type of mental state anyone is in or whatever the case is. And hopefully, hopefully it wasn't a case of mistaken identity. But when I tell you I was getting absolutely cooked, I was getting absolutely cooked. Absolutely fucking cooked, chat. And to make it worse, I'm like, this person who's literally roasting me, and it's the broadcaster, chat. It's the chat and the broadcaster. And this is going to get into my subject because y'all know it's Monday, and we're going to talk about how to, we talk about getting money on Monday, right? At least a little bit of investing, a little bit of budgeting, whatever the case is, financial entertainment. And we're going to get into that, right? But I was flabbergasted. You know what I'm saying? To just witness all of that. I'm sitting here lurking, for the most part, minding my business, and I'm absolutely getting cooked in the chat, right? And because, I don't give a fuck, right? I will say this person has come into my chat. This person absolutely has come into my chat. This person has commented in my chat. This person we were having a good old conversation. I thought it was a mutual respect because this person basically makes their stream out like, hey, I support people who support me. This person has literally come here in this chat and given me bits. That's why I'm like, I'm lost. I'm like, are y'all sure? Y'all sure? But they were sure, nigga. They were sure. They made sure I knew they were sure who they was talking to. They were absolutely sure. They were absolutely sure. And it's unfortunate because one of the subjects I'll get into today, and if y'all saw the title of my episode today, is the cost of doing business, right? And I'm going to go into the definition of the cost of doing business. But there's also a cost. There's also a cost to doing business in things that you're pursuing. Because maybe I was wrong in my assumptions that if you are on Twitch and you have become affiliated or want to have affiliation and you're aiming for certain things, it's my assumption that if you're streaming for people that you're also looking for support. My bad. Maybe that was the wrong assumption. Maybe that is a lesson learned for me. Assuming that just because someone is basically making their channel to be like, hey, I'm supporting people, come through support, positive vibes, and that's not the case, chat. Maybe it's my fault, right? Because you know the story of assumption, right? It can make an ass out of you and me, chat. God damn. But when I tell you, I'm like, that's crazy. That's a fact. That's what I'm like, okay, well, maybe this person just likes to keep a real tight circle. Maybe their thing isn't looking to grow, right? Not everybody has that ambition, or I don't even want to say ambition. Maybe just that's not everyone's goal. My goal is to grow. My goal is to go from somebody that nobody knows to someone that everybody knows. And I know I'm on the right path because I am encountering enemies, right? You feel me? With that being said, chat, listen, sometimes you got to be straight up and down with motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And I would be remiss if I didn't tell y'all who this person is. And it's not to be messy because I don't have nothing against this person, right? I'm still absolutely flabbergasted that situation even took place because this person could be somebody that some of you are even close to, right? Listen, And if you're close to this person, hey, all I said was my bad. If I offended you, my bad. I had no idea I was offending you by showing up to your stream, trying to support you, and that's my bad. So if you or any of your folks are lurking, listen, if anybody's in this chat and you feel the same way this person does, meaning, listen, I don't want your fucking support. All you got to do is say, you do not have to tell True twice. I promise you that. You don't have to tell me twice. There's a million people on the internet. You don't need me. You absolutely do not need me, right? But when you start calling me a snake, when y'all start calling me some of the names y'all were calling me, and I thought you were talking about somebody else until you said it was me, now you're defaming me, right? You're playing on my character because I let the chat know a little bit about my life. Yeah, of course, everyone doesn't know everything about my life, but at the end of the day, one thing you can definitely know is that I came from a place where a lot of people don't make it out of there. And not only did I make it out of there, but I've been thriving. And not only that, before I even got on Twitch, I've been giving financial entertainment and otherwise supporting and helping people way before Twitch. So I just want to tell this person, listen, no hard feelings, but thank you. Because while every time you have gone live, I made it basically for most people, whenever they go live, I make sure at a minimum, I got to get this person tabbed up. I got to support them. They support me. But you ain't about to fucking throw dirt on my name. Listen, nigga, is this you? Is this you? Right? I'm not here to talk bad about nobody, but if you don't think I'm not going to let the folks know who you are, you're out of your mind. This you? This you? That's you right there, isn't it? That's you. This is you and your chat were absolutely throwing straight up dirt on my name, calling me a op, calling me a snake, saying I was doing all this crazy shit. I don't know you. I don't know most people on the internet. Regardless of how much we chat, we don't know each other. So all I could do is say, listen, W to everyone who's come out to support me. And trust me, if I'm there in your chat, I'm not there maliciously. Why would I waste my time on malicious acts? What does that do for me? What does that do for me? But we've been following each other for months. For months. You know what I'm saying? Is this you that been following me since July? Is that you? Is this you? Is this you that have been commenting on my chat? I had to go back and was like, am I tripping? Had conversation, giving biddies to the chat. Is that you? It absolutely is you. It absolutely is you. And it's crazy because I walked in on another person's chat one day and they were talking about this person. And I didn't know what they were talking about. And I'm like, yeah, I be in that person's chat all the time. I have no idea what they were talking about. But I tell you right now, I'll tell you straight up. Listen, you have to not ever worry about seeing me in your chat. You don't have to worry about that. Right? And I'm just using this as an example. Like I said, I have no hard feelings toward this person. But I do thank you because while I may have gone, every time you've gone live, I may have come to your chat. I may have given biddies. I may have supported you. And the whole time you're like, why the fuck is this nigga here? Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you. Shout out to Forever Moso in the building. Thank you, chat. Thank you. And again, to transition into our morning vibe, that is what we call the cost of doing business. The cost of doing business. Shout out to all the lurkers. Trust me, you are welcome here. You can lurk here. No malicious intent on my behalf. If you think I have snake behavior, listen, say it. You don't have to be shy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to research you more. I'm not going to come looking for you. I'm not. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? You feel me? The cost of doing business refer to all expenses a company incurs to operate, including direct costs like raw materials and indirect costs like rent and utilities. It encompasses both fixed, i.e. salaries, and variable shipping expenses, and is a crucial metric for understanding a company's total operating expenses. This includes expenses such as labor, rent, interest on loans, taxes, insurance, marketing, and equipment maintenance. Excuse me, chat. Before we get started, a little disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a tax advisor, not a tax accountant. I'm not a certified financial planner. I'm not certified in anything. I'm just a regular dude giving you financial entertainment. If you take anything I say and run with it, do your own due diligence, do your own research, reach out to somebody you can trust, right? Because apparently True has all this malicious intent, and me giving you all this information that could potentially be benefiting someone's life out there, it is actually to hurt you, according to some people. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're talking about.
You're cooked, brother.
I'm cooked, apparently, chat. But you already know we're going to get into CNBC and we're going to get into our news articles because the show keeps going. But after we go through this definition. But hopefully, the person I showed on screen, hopefully, that is this your mans? Is that one of y'all mans? If it is, cool. Like I said, the way they were dogging me in that chat, I had to come on here and say something. I had to. Because I just be real. Like, somebody asked me when I was in the stream, let me go full screen real quick. Somebody said when I went to another like broadcaster I like to go to. And it was interesting because this person was on the front page and they had their front page day and they went absolutely crazy. And then I ran across them in like several other people's chat. And then when we came across a common person, it's like, yo, we meet again. And they'd be like, yo, you be everywhere. And I'd be like, yo, you be everywhere. So then somebody said, yo, how do you get everywhere like that? How do you be in everybody's chat? And I said, I do be lurking. And I do be on pages and I try to figure out who got content I really like to watch, etc. However, that's not the only thing. Raids. This is specifically what I told them. I say it's the raids. When I'm in someone's chat and they choose someone and they raid out to that person, most of the time, well, all the time, if somebody's starting a raid, I don't leave. I stay there. But if I'm actively at my computer on my phone and I'm part of the raid, I will engage in the raid. I'll at least go and be like, listen, coming through to show love from so-and-so's page or channel, or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Stay there, chat with the person for a little bit. That's how I met most of the people. If I didn't meet you through follow for a follow, through Funny Marco, or because I saw some of your clips on Instagram or something and followed you, this is how I come across most people. Most likely somebody has raided you and I was a part of that raid. And whether I spoke at that moment or later, I come back and be like, yo, what's good? Coming to show some love. That's how I'm everywhere. Because people raid different people. And when I always talk about going from 0 to hero and I say through small calculated steps, well, a part of those calculated steps is not only supporting the streamer that I was there supporting, but also supporting the people that they support. Because you never know. Listen, I'll tell you right now, my brother has been on Twitch for a while. And he told me, he said, listen, all it takes is for one person one person to come in and change the whole trajectory of your stream, because that person may come in and support you through gifts, through donos, through bits. They may have a huge community that they keep shouting you out to. They may raid you. You never know. All it takes is one person. So you got to be genuine. You got to be authentic, and you got to be yourself. My brother told me that. My brother. Shout out to Pindu Mayor. When I started this journey, that's what he told me. He said, listen, this is a long journey, but don't think it can't change in an instant, because all it takes is one person to change your journey, right? And again, no flex, no nothing like that. But I feel like, not for everyone, obviously, but for at least one or two people out there, I may have been that person. And not even because I've gifted subs or subscribed to their channel, because there may have been people out there, and I told you guys this before, with 0 viewers. And I pop in, and I continuously pop in. And then maybe even they get rated, or I mention them, or shout them out, and then they go to 2 people. Can you imagine streaming for 5 years, not having anyone on your channel, and then you go to 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, and the next you averaging 10? That's how you build community. You feel me? Let's get back into it. But that's what the vibe was. So anyway, the cost of doing business. And it just fit, because again, on that subject, the cost of doing business, right? The cost of doing business can also be the employees that you hire, right? All costs associated with employees, including wages, benefits, and payroll taxes. And not just wages, benefits, and payroll taxes, but also what your employee does can cost you. Y'all ever seen a video where somebody goes into a restaurant irate, and then that employee was having a bad day, and that employee just starts swinging on a customer, maybe knock the customer out? Do you think that business could potentially get sued? Now, to a smaller scale, that's kind of similar to what could happen on Twitch or any other platform. If you have someone who's coming in and they genuinely support you, and then all of a sudden your chat, which are like your employees or the people that support you are always showing up, they gang up on anyone who's new to come to your channel. Listen, you're probably not going to grow. If they're straight up disrespecting the new people that come in, but again, we know you can have close-knit circles, right? But if you're actually trying to grow and you have goons running your chat, you're going to be stuck at the same place. So hopefully your intentions aren't to grow. Operating expenses, day-to-day costs to keep the business running, such as rent, utilities, electricity, internet, maintenance, etc. Another cost of doing business when it comes to Twitch, I believe a cost of doing business is bits, is subs. I've said it for years. Scared money does not make money. You need to release the money that you have out into the world to let it work for you, because you don't know in what ways it will work for you, right? I told one of the streamers that I go to their page, I said, listen, the only time or the main time where I gift subs is when there is a larger than normal raid that comes into a person's channel. If I'm used to your channel, for example, if I go to Crest, I'll use Crest as an example. If I go to Crest channel and he's averaging 20, 30 people in his channel, then all of a sudden he gets raided by 200 people, which may be an anomaly. I can't say, right? I don't spend 100% of the time in Crest channel, but let's say 200 people get raided into his channel, and I'm a big supporter. That is my opportunity to support Crest to the next level. That's going to be the time where you get those 5 subs out of me. Why? Because it's going to give it to people in that raid. And when people come in that raid and they get a sub and now they can watch you ad free, those people may come back. And those people may pay it forward by giving an additional sub. That is a small part of my strategy. So if I'm chilling in there, right? And this could be for anyone. This could also be for me. Someone could be like that. Like if I'm in there and it's me and one other person, if I'm feeling generous or whatever the case is, I could still give 5 subs. But in my head, I like to see when people get active, when people got 20, 30 people or more than average than they have in their chat, that is when I like to turn up. Because then those people will come back and then those people will turn up. And that is how you grow. And you grow from support, right? So to me, that is a cost of doing business. If you're broke, cool. A lot of people are broke. But if you're broke and you're holding on to your last $5, let me tell you, it's not going to do anything for you. Holding on to your last $5 is the same as having no money, right? So why not use that money to do something that could potentially have returns for you? You feel what I'm saying? You never know how that's going to go. Taxes and fees, right? Costs like property taxes, business licenses, vehicle registration, right? The cost of doing business. Interest paid on borrowed capital, other costs. This can include shipping fees, insurance, and even credit losses. How to use this information. For a business, understanding your total cost of doing business is essential for pricing, profitability analysis, and budget management, right? They said it at TwitchCon. Treat your Twitch stream as a business, right? And if you're doing it correctly, you can be able to write off a lot of the things that you spend money on your cameras, on your microphones, on your boom arms. Shout out to Besco in the building. Your additional monitors, those are the cost of doing business, and you can write some of those things off. Shout out to City Rat in the building. For an individual, it helps you understand the financial pressures and expenses that businesses must manage, which can influence prices and wages, right? The cost of doing business, right? That is the cost of doing business. Going to subscribing to someone's channel, giving bits to someone, and then turning around and saying, listen, you're not wanted here. That happens sometimes. You can go into a restaurant with good intentions and they just don't feel a positive vibe from you and they can say, listen, don't come back. And you like, brother, what did I do? Right? God damn. I'm getting kicked out. It happens, chat. It happens. But you can only write off those deductions once. It's a fact. Shout out to City Rat. For policy, government bodies may use the cost of doing business to understand the financial impact of regulation in local businesses. Shout out to Besco for the biddies. Let's go. You feel me? This is the cost of doing business. Let's switch gears real quick, chat. Let's switch gears. Let's get into some of our article rundown. But hopefully that made sense. You know, I'm going to use the situation that happened to me over the weekend to transition into our subject for the day. Because again, I'll say it one more time. If I'm lurking in your channel, if I am chatting in your channel, if I'm gifting gifts, subs, cheers, whatever the case is, and you don't want me there, the biggest favor you can do is let it be known, chat. Let it be known, right? You have that is your choice. You have that choice. People should respect your boundaries. You don't want somebody there, they shouldn't be there, right? That is your choice. You feel me? Breaking 4 partners with Amazon for dealers to sell used vehicles online. Come on, chat. Lurkers are always welcome here. Ford partners with Amazon for dealers to sell used vehicles online. Chat. We always start off Monday reading articles. You can go anywhere you want. We like CNBC. We like the format. You can go anywhere, but look at the information. Being able to buy used vehicles online, maybe through Amazon Prime, maybe you get your vehicle delivered in 2 days. Listen, this is huge. When we look at our rainbow bar, we got red, 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 green, red, right? So all the indices are down, oil's up, U.S. Treasury's down. Stock futures slide to start weak as traders brace for NVIDIA earnings. NVIDIA is a huge company. Semiconductors, Again, if you're using a computer, it's likely you may have an NVIDIA chip. If you're gaming, you may have an NVIDIA chip, but they have earnings. When are their earnings? Let's check it out. Let's see when the earnings is coming up. I should know this off of the top of my head, but let's see when NVIDIA earnings are. November 19th, that's Wednesday, 2 days. 2 days, chat. Let's look at some of the articles, make some assumptions, right? Novo Nordisk cuts direct-to-consumer prices for Wegovy, Ozempic to $349 a month. Is that cheap? Does anybody in the chat use Wegovy or Ozempic? This is a weight loss drug, $349 a month. Yo, shout out to you. Shout out to you. I don't judge anyone, but I will say $349 a month could get you a luxury gym. A luxury gym. I'm talking with a sauna, a massage therapist, a stretch coach, Zumba classes, boxing classes, kickboxing, weight equipment that gets cleaned periodically throughout the day. I mean, I'm talking world-class luxury. Basketball courts, swimming pools. $349 is my weekly grocery bill for a family of 5. Shout out to that. Absolutely. But $349 for Wegovy, Ozempic, I can't say whether that's a good or a bad deal. And that's a cuts prices. So some people paying more than that. The club's top 10 things to watch in the stock market Monday. Stock futures slide to start the week. Yeah, NVIDIA earnings again, right? Alphabet rallies after Berkshire reveals stake. Why Buffett's firm likely bought it. Google. They're talking about Google, chat. It rallies after Berkshire Hathaway, led by your very own Warren Buffett, reveals the stake in the company. Oh, this is going to go perfect with how we're going to transition. Huang's $500 billion NVIDIA forecast will come up at Q3 earnings. $500 billion, chat. That is a lot of money. So when we say, listen, don't hold on to your $5, use it wisely. Listen, there are people out here making serious money. And when it comes to retail investors, i.e. the little guys, you and I, we're pawns in this game. If this was checkers, we are absolutely the pawns. We are used as capital for bigger investors, i.e. whales, hedge funds. We're pawns in this game. That's why it's important for us to know what's going on, what to pay attention to for the week. That's why we start off our Mondays the way we do, chat. Because otherwise, would you have known that Ford partners with Amazon for dealers to sell used vehicles online? Can you imagine not having a hassle? I'm not sponsored, but shout out to CarMax, shout out to Carvana, right? Why? Because those are two dealers that sell used cars that I know don't hassle. If a company's not hassling with you, that lets you know that their prices are legit. When you go into a dealership and they're hassling you, meaning you're going back and forth about $1,000, $2,000, you thought you were going to go buy a new or used car and you were only going to be in the dealership a max an hour, a max 2 hours, and then you spend your whole day in there. Come on. Come on. They're costing you money to be in there. Here on Monday's biggest analyst calls, I always tell you it's going to say NVIDIA, Apple, Tesla, Dell, Snowflake, Gap, Micron, and more. So I was going to have those top dogs in there. India deepens energy trade with U.S. to mend trade relations amid tariff strain. I said it on one of my streams last week, but the government shutdown has come to an end, at least temporarily, right? They basically signed for a bill to go through January 30th. Why does that matter? Because that allows people to operate till the end of January. What's going to happen after that? I have no idea. If we wanted to make some assumptions about that, you telling me people weren't getting paid for a month and a half, and all of a sudden, right before Thanksgiving, right before Christmas, now here's your paycheck. Here's your fat paycheck. We didn't want y'all to spend your paycheck frivolously. We wanted to save the money for you, but here you go. Here's your paycheck. Go buy a lot of Thanksgiving food. Go buy a lot of Christmas presents. Chat. I don't know. We're just assuming, right? Jeep eyes U.S. comeback following year-long sales troubles. Jeep had the lowest rate of vehicle being stolen in the United States. That was a statistic. The vehicle with the highest rate of being stolen was, I believe, a Honda Civic. They probably got a fine print. The longer you keep the customer at the dealership, the more commission you get. Facts. It's funny, but it could be facts. Because they're trying to sell you on everything. They're trying to sell you on warranties, etc. Listen, again, I'm not sponsored. But I will say, if you go into a dealership to buy your car, and although it may sound crazy to like, why would I give you any more money? I'm already paying for this new or used or certified pre-owned vehicle. Why would I give you another hour of my time listening to all this warranty crap? Chat. I'm here to tell you, those warranties, you might want to just listen. You might want to just listen. If you're buying a used or a certified pre-owned car, listen, I know all dealerships aren't necessarily the most ethical, but you may want to at least listen to the salesperson when they talk to you about the warranty. Because I've purchased a used car before and I had nowhere to be. And I said, listen, I'm going to be respectful of your time. You be respectful of mine, right? Let's make this a smooth transaction, but also let me know all the things that are available to me. When you have those kind of conversations, you go in there with good intent. You don't go in there like, I got 5 minutes to buy this car. I need to be out of the door driving. I got somewhere to be. If you got somewhere to be, it's not a good time to buy a car. Take care of your business first. But I will say, if you're going to buy a car, you should at least listen to what they got to say about warranties. Because I tell you, I bought a used car, chat. This was pre-pandemic. And the car was so clean. And that warranty just made it that much cleaner because that warranty included some crazy shit in it. I'm talking lifetime of the vehicle oil changes damn there, right? Some mechanical, some other, it included so much stuff in there. So much so that I even negotiated, and I'm not going to say what dealer it was because I don't know if this part of the negotiation was technically all that legit, but we negotiated it because I negotiate anything. But one of the things I negotiated was as long as my sales rep was at that dealership, I could also get free gas. So anytime I had an oil change, I made sure I did not fill my gas up with my car up with gas. I said gas up with the car. I drove to the dealership with damn near an empty tank. And they would fill it up for me. Change my oil, fill up the gas tank. You feel what I'm saying? And on top of that, I negotiated in a hat. Don't be afraid to negotiate things that aren't necessarily the car. Because I'm like, I want to know how much stuff I can get out of this. And this wasn't even a brand new car. It was a used car. And I was like, yeah, let me get one of them hats too. 2 of them. I need one for me and one for my lady. This is a true story. Yes, I negotiated hats. Because if you're paying thousands of dollars for a car, chat, they can throw in a $30 hat. You feel me? So you never know, but make sure you pay attention. All right, let's keep moving. Stocks making the biggest moves, quantum computing, Alphabet, Zymeworks. We haven't sold our soul to the devil. Switzerland's trade deal with the U.S. divides opinion. Here come the bullish 2026 stock market forecast. Mark Wahlberg's new mansion skyrocketed in value. Here's what fueled the home's extraordinary rise. Listen, look at this. If that's his house, look at that house. That house, chat, looks like a neighborhood. Look at it. That's nuts. Inside Ford's new world headquarters. Scratch kitchens, rotisserie chickens, and design secrets. This is Ford. Ford is going absolutely crazy. They got rotisserie chickens now, chat. Rotisserie chickens, you can buy the vehicles off of Amazon. Listen, Ford is not playing going into 2026. Trump pivots, tells Republicans to back release of Epstein files before House vote. Emirates bets big on Boeing with $38 billion order at Dubai Air Show. Listen, these articles aren't saying a lot about what's going on this week. Sealed Air to go private in $10.3 billion deal with CD&R. Sealed Air? Listen, I'm assuming that's some type of airline or whatever. I'm not familiar with it. You got to read the article. Buy this retailer as it can ward off tariff pressures. It says Old Navy in the picture, but you got to read the article for yourself. Americans are heating their homes with Bitcoin this winter. What? If I had to make an assumption, I'm going to say, hey, people are Bitcoin mining and it's making their house warm. But listen, if you can warm your house while mining for Bitcoin, hey, listen. W's to that. If you can make money while you're running your bill up, W's. Bitcoin bear market could deepen further as liquidity worries take hold. One of these episodes, I'm going to talk about cryptocurrency. It's not going to be this one, but cryptocurrency. Listen, you're not going to be able to get away from it. You're not going to be able to get away from it. Shout out to Bree in the building. Shout out to Bree in the building. Bangladesh ousted PM. Hasina sentenced to death for students crackdown. They're not saying a lot this week, chat. New York Fed reportedly met with Wall Street firms about key lending facilities. And it could be because we're going into the Thanksgiving holiday. And I don't want this to be like some type of gossip page, but Bree, I gotta message you, Bree. I gotta message you, Bree. I gotta ask you something. The government shutdown is over. The air traffic controller shortage is not. They were listen, they had a picture where they were giving people checks for $10,000. Were they paid actors? Did they give everyone who stood strong during the air traffic control shortage, did they give them $10,000? Did they? Did they? 3 money moves to make when you get a raise. Again, former Fed Governor Adriana Kugler violated trade rules while at Central Bank. Ethics report. Listen, big people always gonna violate trade rules, but they didn't give us much in the articles today. The biggest things, chat, is Ford, Nvidia earnings, and what we're gonna transition to about. We're gonna talk about some big name investors, right? Because we're talking about Warren Buffett, right? He reveals his stake. We're gonna talk about this. Is gonna be part of what I plan to talk about today. What's T? You know, this ain't a gossip page, but I'll be remiss if I didn't just tell you straight up. I started today off letting people know about how I sat in a chat on Saturday of somebody that I supported their stream for months. And I'm in there just like that meme with the cat eating, reading the chat, looking at how, somebody's absolutely getting cooked in the chat. And I'm like, yo, this crazy. They calling this person all type of snake and op and everything that they can think of. And I'm like, God damn, they going hard on somebody. And then all of a sudden they start mentioning me. And I'm looking like,
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
They was cooking me. They were absolutely cooking me. They were cooking me, chat. And the chat and the broadcaster and everybody in between was like, yo, why the fuck are you here? We don't want you here. Why do you keep coming back? I was like, damn, what did I do? What did I do? But shout out to that person because, yeah, like I said, and I'll keep saying it, only for today, that listen, no disrespect to that person, but I appreciate you for letting me know. That was your girl, Katie. That was your home girl. That was this person right here. That was this person right here. And I absolutely did. I dropped biddies in there and everything. You know what I'm saying? I said, hey, maybe they mistaken my identity. Either way, somebody said, listen, don't come through here. Leave her alone. Why are you here? You're always lurking, etc. I said, oh, this is juicy. And they said, you. They started at me. I'm like, oh, my bad. I didn't know I was interrupting. Okay, cool. And she cooked me. You ain't got to talk to her on my behalf, for sure. But she said, don't come back. I said, okay. And then I just left. There's no debate on my part. But I said, dang, I didn't realize I was a snake. I'm a snake. I'm an op. I'm like, how am I an op? Do people still not realize how old I am? Do I look like I'm beefing with anybody on the internet? Come on. Come on. Yeah. Anytime I see that page go live, I go in there and lurk. I don't always get the chat, but I try to show my support when I can. But switching gears up, chat, because you already know on Monday we talk about business. But I had to let you know because I remember I walked in on one of the on one of the chats, and I remember I think somebody was talking about that page, and I was like, yeah, I go to that page all the time. I remember that. Exactly, Cress. But I got cooked. I'm like, yo, nobody gonna tell me why I'm a snake? Like, at least tell me. So what is Well Wisdom, chat? What is Well Wisdom? Well Wisdom is a website that provides data and tools for investors to research and track the investment portfolios of institutional investors, such as hedge funds, by analyzing their SEC filings. And it was random. That's what I thought too. I said, what? They said, yo, they gotta be the person who reported your page. I'm like, yo, a case of mistaken identity. It gotta be. And I don't wanna be that type of person that don't think like I'm above anything, because it could have just been me they talking about. But I said, that's crazy. I'm like, yo, that chat was turning up on me, and I was watching that shit like a movie. Like, yo, I was like, whoever they talking about,
You're cooked, bro.
they cooking your ass. And they started mentioning me like, nigga, what? I was like, yo, that's crazy. I was shocked because I know, there's not actually words that are said on that channel. It's literally just movies and stuff like that and gameplay. Somebody casted a demon on their ass. They took it out on me. Listen, I caught a stray. Listen, that's all good. It's all good with me. Listen. The way they cooked me, dog. I said that was crazy, but don't defame me. So it offers services to help users replicate well investor strategies. Y'all ready, chat? Including data on 13F filings, insider transactions, and mutual fund holdings. Key features include the Whale score for ranking managers and the Whale index for a composite of top holdings, along with tools like an Excel add-in and backtester. Backtester. You feel me? And that, Bree, is the cost of doing business, because sometimes your employees can be the reason you don't get certain business, right? We used to have this thing where I used to work at McDonald's a long time ago. And some of you may have heard about this. Maybe this could be the first time some of you have heard about it. But we had this thing called the secret shopper. And you never know when that person was going to come. But it was a person who worked for the corporate. And they would go around to locations and they would just order a meal. They wouldn't do nothing spectacular, put on no show. They just come in there as a regular customer. And then they would report back what their experience was. Who are all the people they interacted with? All these things. And then when a secret shopper came in, if you were the person to serve that secret shopper and you fucked up that interaction, there will be consequences behind that. But if you were a person that went above and beyond and ended up getting additional benefits for your store because of how you treated that secret shopper, they would give you even more benefits. Paid time off, or here's a discounted meal or a meal on us, or something to show like, hey, we appreciate you. Right? That's the cost of doing business. When you hire certain people, or when you put certain people in charge of your chat and new people come in, and again, like Chris mentioned earlier, sometimes they're just tight-knit communities, right? Which is cool. But when that chat doesn't take the time to figure out who those people are before turning them away, or even you, like turning them away. Like if somebody came in and everybody just started turning up on them and I started turning up on them, and then you realize, oh shit, we didn't realize that was the motherfucking CEO of Twitch we just banned from our channel. Like, how crazy would you look? How crazy would you look? Not saying that's the case with me. I don't want to be on my high horse. I'm just saying, like, yeah, you can't make a newcomer feel unwelcome, especially if your goal is to gain support, if your goal is to reach a certain status in this community. If that's your goal, chat, listen, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I mentioned it last week. I don't know who was in the chat. But chat, I just found out about the whole teams thing. Like, I knew what teams were, but I didn't know how teams operated. But I got invited to a team. And who knows what will come from that, but that is a sign that you're going in the right direction. Like the dude mentioned earlier, when you're playing a video game, when you come across enemies or you come across people along your path that are trying to deter you from getting to the boss, that's how you know you're going in the right direction. And let me tell you something, chat. And then, again, this is not to be on my high horse, but someone once told me, sometimes you just got to spit your shit and let people know who you are. But chat, I'm a blessed individual. You know why? For a number of different reasons. But one of the reasons is I've always treated every person that I've come across with the same respect. I've never looked at anyone like I'm better than them or they were better than me. Anyone, not one person. And I'm trying to tell you, if you didn't know now. I come from the trenches. Don't get that shit twisted. I absolutely come from a bad area. I mentioned it before. The area that I grew up in was so bad, that shit doesn't even exist. They had to rip it down to keep the people from killing each other. That was the only way to solve that problem, was to literally rip the entire neighborhood down and displace everyone that lived there. They didn't give a fuck if you had somewhere to go. They didn't care if you had a place to move to. Sometimes that's the only way to solve a harsh problem. It's to just delete the shit and start over. That's what happens sometimes. I've seen all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm proud to have witnessed some of the things that I've witnessed, especially as a child. You know what I'm saying? Witnessing people get beat half to death, being on the school bus, and all of a sudden the school bus got to take a separate route because there's a fucking dead body laying in the middle of the neighborhood and in the middle of the apartment complex. Nobody even knew a body's in the middle of the street. All the kids can see it. Like, bro, what are we talking about here? The last thing I'm going to do is come on Twitch and lurk in somebody's page with malicious intent. A Twitch page? Do you know how much, bruh, I be running on straight fumes. On fumes, because not only do I support people on Twitch, I support people in real life. I take care of real people. Like, this is not a game, right? I'm not saying Twitch is end all be all for me, but I'm trying to let y'all know when I come up with something that I want to do, oh, best believe I'm going to exceed. I'm going to succeed. There's no doubt about it. Because the thing that's in me is not in most people. It's not in most people, chat. They don't have that. Listen, I'm going to grind through it all. You know what I'm saying? I've been battle tested. And when I can share information like what I'm sharing now to people who have never seen this information before, y'all think I'm doing this with malicious intent? I'm telling you how to identify whale transactions. This, again, could be above some people's head, but am I telling people this with malicious intent? They don't make that cloth no more. Exactly. And some people just cut from it. I'm a snake. I'm an op because I get on here and I talk and I sometimes play games and I give people financial entertainment. Gotta be mistaken identity, right? Because you telling me if I'm an op to anybody, it's probably to the whales, because I'm literally out here giving out their secrets. Somebody taught it to me. I'm teaching it to you guys. What does Well Wisdom do? Still staying on track. What does Well Wisdom do? It tracks and analyzes SEC filings, collects and processes data from filings like 13Fs, which institutional investment managers must submit quarterly. They control at least $100 million in U.S. securities. Shout out to City Rat. I'm the most real person they met online or in person. I met City Rat in person. Y'all think I won't show up? I'll show up and meet people. I told people this before, even when I was at TwitchCon. I said, listen, you ain't gotta stalk me. You want to link with me? Just let me know. We can link up. We could talk about it. You feel what I'm saying? We could stream together. What else does Well Wisdom do? Provide research tool. The platform offers various tools for investors to analyze this data, including historical and current fund holders, insider transaction tracking, and the ability to search for holdings by fund or stock. Rates Investment Managers offers data and analysis, includes analytical tools, and creates indice reports. But what is a 13th F? What is a 13F? Oops, I put 12F. Because this is what ops and snakes are doing with their Monday morning. They're out here showing you guys how to navigate the economy, how to navigate the financial market, how to make money. And I've touched on every level, right? We've touched on every level, from a pack of noodles to people who wants to manage or who have $1 million. Whether you believe it or not. Where does True fall in at all that? Maybe one day you'll find out. But a Form 13F is a quarterly report that institutional investment managers must file with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, if they manage $100 million or more in certain securities. The purpose is to increase transparency by making the holdings of these large institutional investors publicly available, which can be used by other investors to track the activities of major funds. Why is this important? Why is it important? Because you have companies that you support, whether that be Google, Apple, or whatever, and then you have hedge funds that also support these companies that you don't know who are in charge of these hedge funds, and they're putting their money into certain things, and they're making us, the retail investors down at the lowest level, fight amongst ourselves, chat. Exactly, Crush, you got to know what's going on. And your number one op is here on an early Monday morning telling you what's going on, telling you how to recognize what's going on for the week, telling you how to keep your ear to the earth, showing you what to pay attention to so you're not blindsided. While you're out there arguing with your people on Instagram and TikTok about why you shouldn't go to Target, but instead let's shop here, and those people who you're supporting also support Target. So you're inadvertently supporting Target by supporting those people. And I'm not telling you whether to support Target or not. I'm just telling you, while you're arguing with your close friends about what's what, all the while you have people who know this information that's like looking at you like, y'all all foolish. You're all foolish. Because you're playing a game that you still haven't even read the rule book of. What are we talking about here? You feel what I'm saying? I'm showing you where the rules are. You got to read the rule book for yourself. But I'm trying to tell you, you're playing a different game than they're playing. People out here, I spent days talking about the government shutdown and how if it continued past a certain date, it would affect people. Even people who don't receive government assistance, people who don't get money from the government by way of employment, it will still affect you. Some people didn't realize that until they went to the airport and they had to take 4 hours just getting through security at the airport. And y'all think it's over? It's not over. It's not over. This conversation is going to come up right after the New Year's. We're going to see what they talking about. But sometimes you picking little things to worry about. You picking things like, let's not go to Target. Why? Tell me your actual reasoning. Right? Because if y'all really dug deep, trust me, it gets deep. If you're a person that use hair care products and you thinking, oh, I'm only shopping at all black brands, bro, wait till you realize that some of your favorite black products are created and manufactured by white people. You know what I'm saying? Not to say it's anything wrong with it, but if you're going to choose a side of an argument, you got to know what you're arguing about. You got to know what you're arguing for, right? The cost of doing business, right? That's what we're talking about today. Because you have people who are fighting each other, who are pointing fingers, who are willingly saying, hey, your culture or your race are the biggest recipients of SNAP benefits. You're the ones that's causing this government shutdown. No, you're the ones causing this government shutdown. Meanwhile, the people who are causing the government shutdown have a dinner party, fine dining, music, waiting for their golden ballroom to be built while making decisions for your life. And y'all think each other are the problem because people don't know how to understand the information. Exactly. You only know surface level. How do you get down deep? Y'all can literally turn on the news and they can tell you Nancy Pelosi, one of our government officials, is the greatest investor of all time. Somebody who literally sits up there with the people who create the laws for investing is the greatest investor of all time. And everybody's just cool with it. Nothing against Nancy Pelosi. But y'all fighting with each other instead of knowing what's going on, right? Instead of knowing what's going on. Here's well wisdom, right? Here's well wisdom. We read in one of our articles, one of the first articles, that Alphabet rallies after Berkshire reveals stake. Berkshire, led by Warren Buffett. Let me go full screen for 1 second just to make sure it's still logged in. All right, let me transition back. Right? Oops, sorry. Led by Warren Buffett, it went up, right? But then there are sites like Well Wisdom where you can go to, and all I did, chat, is I typed in Google. That's the only thing I did. Ads. I typed in Google, chat. Right? So you go and you type in a site in a company like Google, right? Google has different class of shares. They have class C, class A, right? But let's say we bring up class C. And everybody should know who Google is by this time, right? Shout out to City Rat. Definitely take care of yourself. But you come here and a site like Well Wisdom gives you all this information, right? The 13th F shares, percent ownership, new positions, increased positions, closed positions, reduced positions, total calls. So the calls, chat, are people who are betting on the stock to go up or the equity to go up. The total puts, people are betting for it to go down. The put to call ratio, calls versus puts. But when you come down here, look at this, chat. Look at this. When you have certain information, right? Let's go to the most recent source data. Let's see if I can shrink this. Here we go. The most recent source data, let's go to the date reported. The most recent information for the data reported, right? Here's a bunch of no change in shares. Gold Capital, I don't know what they're doing. It says 1 share change, right? But look at some of these. Look at some of these. Up, 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 up. What do they know that the average person doesn't know? Lorient Capital, up 263,700 puts. Those are option contracts. Up 22,500 calls, right? What do these people know that you don't know, right? In the article, it talked about Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, right? And so Berkshire Hathaway is also, again, one of those equities with multiple listings, right? So you have the Berk A, Berk B. So if we go here, this is a whale. Why are they known as a whale? Because they got way more money than you, way more money than me. These are the people with the most money in this country, most money on this planet. And you can go here and see what they're actually doing. You can click on things like add it to, right? You can see who's adding Berkshire Hathaway in their holdings. Look at this. Look at this, chat. Why are people doing this? Why are they adding in all of these shares? And you can look at stuff like, all right, let's go here. Percent of their portfolio, right? Ardent Capital, that increased their number of shares by 1,600% as of October 30th, and has Berkshire as 35%, over 35% of their portfolio. You can come here and say, well, what else does Ardent Capital Management invest in? And you can see some of their top buys, some of their top sells. You can see the percentage of their holdings. Hold on one second, chat. Do y'all see this? You can go to an equity or you can go to a hedge fund. A lot of ads, but you can see what's actually going on. And it has a lot of filters you can go in and play around with. But if you come here, look, 2% change. This is their top buys. Google. Why is everyone buying Google? Right? Baidu, Adobe, United Health. Why are people buying these things? These are the top holdings for Ardent Capital, right? Ardent Capital Management. Here are the top holdings. These are whale transactions. You want to know where the big people are putting their money? Where the hedge funds? This is where you go. You can look up any equity. You can look up any hedge fund and you can see what they're doing. Right? So Palo Alto Wealth Advisors, when it comes to this Google, has the most of their percentage of their portfolio, over 34%. And we're not talking in terms of dollars. We're talking about portfolio weighted, meaning how much percentage of their specific portfolio. And when you look at it, Google, Qual, NVIDIA, right? Look at their top buys and their top sells. Their top sell is NVIDIA. Their top buy is Broadcom. Why is that? Right? These are hedge fund transactions. Well Wisdom, this is absolutely a site that you should get to know, because these are going to be one of those sites where you can figure out, all right, how are hedge funds moving? And although the information not necessarily be, it's accurate as of today, because they're only expected to report 13 Fs on a certain basis. Shout out to Step Back in the building. But at least it gives you some idea of where people are putting their money, right? If we look at the date reported and we look at the most up-to-date information, you have Castle Ark, Caxton, both, right? Both dropping their shares in NVIDIA. Dropped 83% of their shares in NVIDIA. But then you have Canada Life Assurance, who increased their shares by over 1 million. And then you have the number of calls for Lorien Capital going down, the number of puts for Lorien Capital going down. You see how you can track some of these transactions? And Step Back, we're talking about whales and where to find whale information. And then you have other websites, one being, for example, Quiver Quant, where we're still talking about whales, but in a different sense, right? Because now you're talking about where are the congressional or political leaders putting their money. You can look up data sets and look at Congress trading, election fundraising, where the government putting their contracts. Shout out to Cress. There's a message. Yeah, automated messenger. What's that, Cress? Shout out to Crest in the building. But you feel what I'm saying? When you look at some of these trades, right? You can look at the politician. You can look at some of the things that they're doing, right? And if you wanted to know how, my bad, that's a shortcut for IG. No, it's cool. You can see what type of transactions they're doing. This is whales. These are whales. We mentioned Nancy Pelosi earlier, but look. Trade volume, chat. Trade volume, $164 million. Look how much is being reported for her net worth. $275 million being reported for her net worth. Look at this, chat. The highest government salary in the United States is the president's, which is set at $400,000 annually. While the president's salary is the highest elected official salary, some federal employees, particularly medical officers, have earned higher salaries than the president due to specific pay scales. Right? $400,000. The highest paid government representative, some people have made higher. But why do I point that out? Because if you are making $400,000 a year, how many years, if you saved 100%, obviously we know it comes from investing, but if you saved 100% of your salary, how many years would it take you to get $275 million? And of course, this is net worth, so it includes other things in that number as well. But do you get what I'm getting at? Again, nothing against Nancy Pelosi. She's one of the greatest traders of our time. You feel me, chat? But look at the volume in some of this. Look at the volume on some of these trades. 183 trades. Look at this. Let's make sure we got the most up to date. Sale, Apple. The transaction was between $100,000 to $250,000. Broadcom, between $1 million and $5 million. And it tells you, look at the description. Exercise 200 call options. Purchase 50 call options. Come on, chat. Look at this money. Between $5 million and $25 million. Look. Just look. Nancy Pelosi's strategy is up almost 1,000%. You want to copy her trades? Click that button right there. Apple, Broadcom, Amazon, Google, Nvidia. She's not fucking around, chat. She's not fucking around. Let's see if they'll let's see if we can let's watch this real quick. Who were the Democrats that changed their vote to reopen the government? Right? Her husband is a senator, right? Probably. All right, so let's look at this. The Democrats who backed Republican shutdown deal and why. We don't care about why. First person on the list is Tim Kaine. Let's look up Tim Kaine. Let's see if he comes up. No results. Jian Shaheen. Jian Shaheen. Probably not going to come up either. Maybe this particular site doesn't want to go down to that level. But y'all get what I'm saying, though. No, let's look up JD Vance. But you guys get what I'm saying. You absolutely get what I'm saying. When you look at this, come on. Total net worth, $10 million. Brokey.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Brokey. When he pull up next to Nancy Pelosi, Nancy look at JD Vance like,
what the hell is even that?
10 million? That's it? All you got is 10 million, bro? Have you not been insider? Oh, let me not say that. Let me not say that, chat. But what are some of the things? QQQ, DIA? I mean, look at these transactions, though. Report year, 2023. Bro said, yeah. Off the radar. But y'all get what I'm saying. Y'all get what I'm saying. Let's see if that dude's name comes up here. Let's look up one more time. Tim Kaine's not coming up. Who is this? What's her name? That's Jian. Maggie Hassan. Let's see if Maggie Hassan comes up. Oh no, I don't think it's gonna come up. Short story, you guys get the point, right? There are websites you can go to see where these political leaders, insider trading, largest recent purchases and sales. Look at this. Folks on the inside doing transactions. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to Stormy in the building. I appreciate the love. Thank you for coming through. W Biddies. W Biddies. Y'all come through showing love. But the point of this story, chat, is that not only can you come here and see, well, you can go to Well Wisdom and see where hedge funds and big folks are putting their money and what companies they're investing in. But you can also come to Quiver Quant, and there's other websites as well where you can see, again, these are whales, politicians and people the like, where they're putting their money. I just showed you. I just showed you. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican for the House in Georgia, right? We got a few folks that come through that's from Georgia. Net worth, $25 million. $25 million, chat. They're cooking. They're absolutely cooking. They are absolutely cooking, chat. Look at this. ADP, Paychex, Procter & Gamble, Amgen, Amazon, Berkshire. Look at the day these trades took place, November 12th. Again, let's go back to Nancy, because you know when Nancy see people with a small pocket.
What the hell is even that?
Like your small ass pockets. This is good to look at because, again, we talked about how the argument is always amongst ourselves, right? But you can always say, okay, some of the folks that represent my area, these are the things they're arguing about. Well, let me go and see where they're actually putting their money, right? Let me see where they're actually putting their money. Because how would you feel if you got people telling you, hey, don't go to Target to shop, don't do this, don't do that, and meanwhile, they're purchasing shares of Target? Maybe they start off selling shares and they want the price of Target or other stores or whatever the case to go down so that way they can buy in at a lower price. So when Target says, hey, we're going to give you somebody's going to give you a new forecast for your price target, and it's going to run up, and then the holiday season is going to come, and then people are going to be scrambling around because they can't get the last minute gifts for their kid. So they're going to run to their closest Target or their closest Walmart, and they're going to blow a check in there. And then these people who were telling you not to go shop there are now holding the shares, and they're profiting off of you going to buy all the toys and all the things out of there. Because you can only hold the line for so long, right? Stop letting these people play in your face. You feel me, Cress? Stop letting these people play in your face. This is how you find that information. And again, I'm not making any assumptions. I don't want to be here making the claim that these people are doing something they're not supposed to be doing. I just want to let you know, here's where you can find out what they're doing. Because I tell you right now, if any of these people that are purchasing have ever been known to say out loud that you should not be going there because of Target's DEI or whatever the case is, listen, they're playing in your face. And you can look up different companies. You can look up Walmart. You can look up Amazon. You can look up Tesla, right? If you have representatives or you have people that are in your face, tricking you out of your spot, tricking you out of your position, telling you, hey, don't go here, don't go there, right? Don't support Tesla. They're doing all these horrible things to the economy. Elon Musk is a bad guy, what he's doing with Doge, right? But meanwhile, they're purchasing Tesla stock. They want everybody to be outraged. They want to drive the prices down. Not saying these people are the ones doing it. I'm just saying, make sure those people that are playing in your face aren't the same ones on this list running it up. Because as you can see, Marjorie Taylor, I don't know what Marjorie Taylor has ever said about Tesla or whether she said something bad or whatever the case is. I can't say she did. I'm not saying that she did, but I'm just saying this is her. And she's on this list of purchasing Tesla. Exactly. They can make a huge impact. If the influencer is big enough, they can make a huge impact. So you got to know what's going on. You have to know what's going on. You have to know where the government is putting funding. You have to know where the whales are putting their funding. Because your money's not long enough. It's not. It doesn't matter what you think. Your money's not long enough. Look at this, chat.
What the hell is even that?
$275 million net worth. I'm just going to go out on a limb and give you a fake statistic. And my fake statistic is going to say that more than 95% of the people who stream on Twitch have a net worth less than $1 million. That statistic's probably absolutely accurate. It's a fake statistic, but that's just to give you an idea of $275 million. Come on now. What are we even talking about here? But this is what we're talking about. Paying attention, right? And if you have a brokerage, chat, I'm here to tell you right now that you can go and you can click on equity. You can type it in, right? I'm gonna go full screen. You can type in an equity and you can look for insider transactions. So it'll let you know, well, what is Elon Musk doing with his Tesla stock? People like Elon Musk may not show up on this list, but because this is more so for your politicians and stuff like that. But you can find this information out. You can see what the insiders are doing. You can see who's trading what. I mean, look at this dude, Kevin Hearn, right? Kevin Hearn. Who is Kevin Hearn? Who is Kevin Hearn? Here's Kevin Hearn here. U.S. Representative Kevin Hearn, right? We don't care about his net worth. Born December 4th. Who is he? Who is Kevin Hearn, chat? Tulsa congressman. Tulsa. If you are in or near or around Tulsa, what is this guy talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. That's why I'm asking. Because here he is selling Home Depot, selling Microsoft, selling Orly, selling CSX, selling BSX, right? Why is his name all over this list? Why do they care about Kevin Hearn so much? What is he going to say, or what is he planning to do? What is he planning to do? Party Republican. Oklahoma District 1, 115th through 119th. There he is, chat. Do you think something is coming up? Is he planning for a re-election or something? What's happening that he's selling all this stuff? Right? What is happening that has Kevin Hearn getting out of these positions? What does he know that you don't know? I'm not making an assumption. I'm just saying he's on the list. Gucci Man made the list and Eminem Man made the list. Shout out my nigga Gucci, dude. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, chat. I talked your ear off. W's to that. The cost of doing business. And if you don't know how to do business, or if you don't know what to look for in terms of expenses, it can get pricey. We talked about different things today. It could get pricey. Things can cost you. Don't cost me money, chat, please. I'm new here. It's only my 3rd day out here. I'm here so I don't get fined. But it's been no secret. I told people I'm going from 0 to hero. Y'all gonna make me feel like Ghost. There's nothing you can do to stop me. Right? Remember when he's talking to Tasha? I can't be stopped, Tasha. You feel me? Expensive ignorance. Very expensive ignorance. But the fact of the matter is, be you, chat. Be yourself. But at the same time, don't let nobody defame you. Because while little things may happen now, one day, I'm going to be big on this Twitch shit. Right? And I'm not going to let anyone defame me, even starting from a small point, even as a small streamer. My intentions are true. You feel what I'm saying? I can only be me. And I promise you again, if you don't want me to lurk, if you don't want me to support you, all you got to do is say. That's it. All you got to do is say. I promise you, I will be gone so quick. Because finishing the way I started, listen, when I was told, hey, why are you here? Don't ever come back. You shouldn't be here. I didn't debate. I didn't argue. I just said, okay, cool. You don't have to tell me twice. Exited the chat. And that's how you approach life. Because at the end of the day, what's for you? What's for you, chat? That package that God has for you, chat, will never be delivered to the wrong address. I promise you that. Never. Never. Exactly. Who the hell says cut? The director says cut. You feel me? You feel me? That's what it is, chat. You know what I'm saying? What are you? I'm an idiot sandwich. Shout out to Gordon Ramsay. But that's what I got for you today, chat. Recognize the cost of doing business. Everybody doesn't have deep pockets. So there's no need to be ashamed of whatever your situation is. But if your situation is, listen, all I can do is support you through lurks, lurks are always welcome. That's the vibe. Shout out to everyone who continuously supports me. Because listen, look how many people we got in the building, lurking and otherwise. What do y'all think is happening? Y'all think this is a mistake? This is not a mistake. We're going to run it up. We're going to run it up. We're going to absolutely run it up. And trust me, there are things cooking that people don't even realize is cooking. And we're going to take this journey together. I told some of you that. We've had chats. We're going to run it up together. Because I tell you one thing, I'm definitely one of those people that's like, when I go somewhere, why would I want to be on my yacht? Why would I want to be in the Amalfi Coast enjoying all that life has to offer by myself? You got to take somebody with you. You got to take your real ones with you, chat. You feel me? So like I said before, I always appreciate all of y'all for coming through, all of y'all for giving your hard-earned money by way of bits, by way of subscriptions. Y'all know the vibes. Keep coming through. Monday is always a vibe because you're going to learn something. But before we exit, I just ask one more thing. Y'all stay right there so we can raid out. Make sure y'all stay tuned for the raid and also keep tapping in because we're going from 0 to hero. And there's nothing you can do to stop me. Let's go. Shout out to Trinity J in the building. Appreciate you, Trinity. You have a great day as well. Y'all know the vibes. We gotta give a clip shout out to to Trinity J, to the greatest, the emote magician. Let me see if I can get this to work today. Let's see if we can get this to work. My shit don't want to work. I know the vibe. My shit don't want to work. All right, we give. My shit don't want to work. I'm just here so I don't get fined. But I appreciate y'all. We're going to raid out. Y'all know the vibes. Let's see who we got going on. But make sure y'all watch that vibe, because I told y'all, listen, people, they're going to block their own damn blessings. Don't let it be one of y'all. We talked about plenty of things today. If you want to know what you missed, the cost of doing business and how it can cost you money. Where are the whales putting their money? Why does Nancy Pelosi have $275 million in net worth? Come on, chat. Come on, chat. Let's go. Make sure y'all go show this woman some love who we about to go to. The vibe is going to keep going. It's November. It's after November 15th, so y'all know we got to switch it up a little bit. Appreciate y'all. Seriously. Catch y'all on the next one.